Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and we're going to stick with our movies set in school. This time it's an 80s classic featuring the Brat Pack, and I'm talking about The Breakfast Club, starring Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy, Anthony Michael Hall, Paul Gleason, Ron Dean, Mercedes Hall, and John Hughes. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And as I said in the introduction, we're going to keep things going this week, talking about 80s movies set in school. And we're going to just plow through this Wednesday, this hump day, with The Breakfast Club, the 80s Brat Pack classic. And our movie takes place on Saturday, March 24th, 1984, as five students who attend Shermer High School report for an all-day detention at 7 o'clock in the morning. The students are nerdy Brian Johnson, varsity wrestler Andrew Clark, introverted outcast Allison Reynolds, popular snob Claire Standish, and rebellious delinquent John Bender, who are described in a voiceover as a brain, an athlete, a basket case, a princess, and a criminal, respectively. The five students all gather in the school library where Vice Principal Richard Vernon instructs them not to talk, move from their seats, or sleep until they are released at 4 o'clock p.m. He then assigns them a 1,000-word essay that each of them must write that describes who they think they are. He leaves, returning only occasionally to check on them and reprimand them. Now, Bender ignores the rules completely and spends most of his time either bullying or harassing Claire, Brian, and Andrew. They all eventually feel sorry for him after seeing how he deals with abusive adults like Vernon, who gives Bender 8 additional weekends worth of detention. At one point, the five sneak out of the library in order to retrieve Bender's stash of marijuana. John even allows himself to be apprehended by Vernon in order to give the others time to return to the library undetected. Vernon even locks Bender into a storage closet as punishment, but Bender escapes and returns to the library by crawling through the ceiling panels. The others help Bender hide and cover for him when Vernon comes in to investigate the noise created by Bender's escape. The students pass the time by talking, arguing, listening to music, and smoking marijuana. And gradually, they begin to open up to each other and reveal their secrets, as well as their poor relationships with their parents. Claire's popularity subjects her to intense peer pressure, and her parents use her to get back at each other during arguments. She is in detention due to skipping school to go shopping. Bender's father is physically and verbally abusive, and Vernon states that he is in detention for pulling a false fire alarm. Allison is a compulsive liar with neglectful parents and dreams about running away from home. Andrew admits that his father emotionally abuses him in order to get him to succeed in wrestling, leaving Andrew feeling like he's unable to think for himself. He was sent to detention for taping another student's buttocks together, hoping to win his father's approval. While Brian is under such pressure from his parents to get good grades that he actually contemplated suicide after getting an F in shop class. He was sent to detention for bringing a flare gun to school for that very purpose. Allison then claims that she wasn't even actually sent to detention. She merely showed up because she lacked anything better to do. It is at this point that they all realize that they face similar problems. Meanwhile, Vernon complains to Carl, the janitor, that the students today are less respectful than they were earlier in his teaching career. However, it's Carl that points out to Vernon that the students haven't changed. He has. Claire then gives Allison a makeover, which ends up sparking romantic interest from Andrew. Claire then decides to break her innocent appearance by kissing Bender, although she suspects that their new relationship will end as soon as detention is over. As the detention nears its end, the group requests that Brian complete the assigned essay for everyone, and Bender returns to the storage closet so that Vernon thinks he has never left. Brian leaves the essay in the library for Vernon to read after they leave. As the students part ways, Allison and Andrew kiss, as do Claire and Bender. Allison rips Andrew's state championship patch off of his Letterman jacket to keep, and Claire gives John one of her diamond earrings. Vernon finds and reads the essay. Dear Mr. Vernon, we accept the fact that we had to sacrifice a whole Saturday in detention for whatever it was we did wrong. But we think you're crazy to make us write this essay, telling you who we think we are. You see us as you want to see us, in the simplest terms, in the most convenient definitions. But what we found out is that each one of us is a brain and an athlete and a basket case, a princess and a criminal. Does that answer your question? Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is a timeless classic, and despite the fact that I was introduced to it later in life and I didn't experience it in the 80s when it was happening and I didn't get caught up in the Brat Pack and everything at the time, this is a movie that I can just pop in and go back to anytime I feel like it because it just stands that test of time. You know, it's one of those movies that shows to us that there's more that binds us together than that divides us. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're from. It doesn't matter if you're a petty criminal or if you're an outstanding athlete or if you're a rich snobby girl, or the brainy nerd. It doesn't matter because we all suffer from the same problems. And it's at that point in the movie where they realize that they can all start to bond really and become friends. And when we all realize that as humans, as people, we will stop having as many issues in the world as we do. There's a lot of life's lessons that can be learned from this movie, period, bar none. I also like the fact how it's pretty much all set in the library. There's a few different scenery changes. We got the basketball court where Bender gets caught. We've got Vernon's office. We've got them roaming the hallways of the school. But I'd say a good 85-90% of the movie takes place in that library. And it never gets boring. Yeah, they move about the library. They're not just sitting at those desks the whole time. But it's all in the library. So it very much has the potential to be boring because there's not a whole lot of different scenery. But John Hughes is able to keep you captivated by the actors, the characters, and the story, and the message that he's teaching us. It's amazing the way he was able to accomplish that because there's so few films that have that limited of a setting that are interesting. The soundtrack, of course, Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me, classic. Another timeless 80s song that I love and adore. I could sit here and spew over the actors. Judd Nelson, amazing as Bender. Anthony Michael Hall, such a cool dude in real life. Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez. We've talked about him at least 5 times on the channel now with Young Guns 2, The Mighty Ducks, D2 The Mighty Ducks, and D3 The Mighty Ducks. I am not going to link all those up here this time because it would take way too long to run through all 5 of those. But if you haven't seen my reviews for them, please search the channel and look those up because there are reviews for all 5 of those movies on the Casa D18 Studios channel. When it comes to my rating for The Breakfast Club, I wouldn't call it the perfect movie. It definitely lacks a little bit in perfection, but it's still an amazing movie. It's still a great movie. I give The Breakfast Club 4 out of 5 stars. I'm curious to know what you guys think about it. Let me know in the comments. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. But let's have that conversation. Let's have that discussion. Let's engage and communicate with one another. Because at the end of the day, that's one of the messages of this movie is communication and learning about each other. So let's learn about each other a little bit through the comments and the Breakfast Club. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, when we take a look at the next episode of the Disney Plus original series, She-Hulk Attorney at Law, starring Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk. You're not going to want to miss out on that right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, right here on an all-new Renegades Reviews, the newest episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. To all my loyal fans and viewers out there, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on. Share this video with your family, friends, loved ones, co-workers, movie fans, cinephiles, fans of the Brat Pack, Judd Nelson fans, Ali Sheedy fans, Molly Greenwald fans, Anthony Michael Hall fans, Emilio Estevez fans, anybody you can think of who would enjoy this content in the review. Share this video with them. It's the only way we're going to boost up my visibility, help me get monetized by the end of the year. Thank you once again for joining me and tuning in today. It means more than you'll ever know, and I will see you guys next time.